Welcome to class. This is a short session designed on helping to bring the shoulders down away from the ears. A repeated pattern of having them up here is going to shorten the traps, so we're going to be stretching those and then really focusing on strengthening the opposing muscles, which are going to be the lats and the middle and lower trapezius. So we're going to be thinking a lot about strengthening all of this down and back here and opening this up. So it'll include some yoga and some resistance training. This will be with bands. You can use weights or you can do it without resistance if needed. But this specifically will work with bands, different resistances to see what works for you best. Some of the exercises are going to be harder than others. If you don't have something to tie these up to, like right here I have a railing that I can use, you might be able to use like a tree or a post or something to secure it to. Even like a doorknob on a door shut could work potentially. And you may have to stand or sit depending on the height of the prop that you're using. So for some of these exercises, you'll want to be low, for some high. You're always welcome to email me with any questions. So let's get started. We'll just come into a child's pose. Stretch your arms forward. Knees are together or apart. And just take a few deep breaths. One more. And then shift forward into a tabletop. Hands slightly wider than your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, fingers spread wide. As you exhale, round your spine, come into cat pose, and just hold there for a moment, stretching the back, press the tops of the feet into the floor. And then on your inhale, take it in the other direction. Drop the belly, lift the gaze, shoulders back, throat open. Stay here for a couple of breaths, feeling into that stretch through the front of the body. And then a couple of times with your breath, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. One more time each way. Exhale. Inhale. And then come back to a neutral spine. Now we're going to work to stabilize the rotator cuff a little bit here, strengthening rhomboids and serratus anterior. Come down onto your elbows, and you can either come into a full plank or maybe a modified plank here on your knees. Just make sure that your butt's not up in the air. You want to keep your spine parallel to the floor, shoulders back and down. And with these, just make sure that the traps don't take over. So allow your chest to sink through the shoulders. Shoulder blades retract, drawing together. And then as you exhale, push the floor away. Shoulder blades move apart, protraction. Inhale, sink. Exhale, press. Keep going. Belly button drawn to spine, core support. So you should be feeling this in the muscles between the shoulder blades. Those are the rhomboids. They're responsible for retraction. And then we've got the serratus anterior, which is on the lateral edge of the rib cage, a little bit anterior, but I usually think of it kind of as the side. Take a couple more rounds. And relax. Rest your head on your hands. Maybe turn your head to the side. And do that on the other side. And then place your hands underneath your shoulders. Press back to a tabletop. And then into a downward facing dog. Pedal out your legs and just loosen things up. Make sure that your fingers are spread, your fingertips grip the mat. Move the hips, shake the head. Walk your hands back to your feet, coming into a dangling pose. Bend your knees so the belly touches the thighs, and then grab onto opposite elbows. Hang your head. Move your shoulders away from your ears. Take another couple of breaths. You might shake your head out a little bit or shift your weight from right foot to left foot. And then come halfway up on an inhale, stretch your spine, extend, shift forward. Think about this as another opportunity for you to strengthen your lats. So every time you take a back bend, focus less on your low back and more on your upper and mid back. So if touching the floor is too much, bring your hands to your shins. That way you can find that nice long spine. There is a little bit of a back bend again. Draw the lats in, belly button in. Inhale. Exhale, fold. All the way up, inhale, reach up, look up. And we'll cactus the arms, but focus on the upper thoracic in that back bend. Exhale, squeeze the lats, like you're moving through that resistance. Inhale, reach up. Exhale again, squeeze your lats. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze the lats. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extend. Again, think about those lats strengthening. Lower traps. Exhale, fold. Let's walk those hands all the way forward, and we'll take another set of those serratus push-ups, or scapula push-ups. So regular plank or modified plank. Make sure elbows are underneath shoulders, and then sink the chest and press. You want to make sure that that back bend is happening, or it's not a back bend, but it's movement. There's a little bit of spinal flexion as you press at the top. You want the spine to kind of rise above the shoulder blades, rounding through the upper back, stretching the space between the shoulder blades. A couple more rounds. Good. This time release all the way down. Stack your hands, rest your head. Take a breath. Turn your head the other way. And then come up onto your elbows in a Sphinx pose. So elbows are underneath shoulders. If that is uncomfortable on your low back, just take your elbows forward a little bit more. Grip the floor with the fingertips and then drag your heart forward and your shoulders back. Again, think about those lats engaging. No tension in the jaw. Push into the elbows, make sure the shoulders are away from the ears. Press the pubic bone down, tops of the feet down, engage the quads. One more breath. And release. Slide your hands back so your fingertips are underneath your shoulders. Tuck your elbows in. We'll do that again. Take an inhale. And then exhale, lift up. But don't use your hands to push into the floor. Use them rather to drag the heart forward and squeeze the elbows in more. Press the pubic bone down, tops of the feet down. Again, pull forward with the chest, elbows in and back. Plant the hands, grip the floor, take an inhale. Squeeze those lats. Exhale, release. Let's press back to downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Inhale, extend the spine. Think about that lat strength. Exhale, fold. Come all the way up. Inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, squeeze the lats. Again, inhale, reach. Exhale, lats. Inhale, reach. One more, exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extend. Exhale, walk those hands all the way forward. One more set, or excuse me, we'll skip that. Just 2 sets is enough, but if you want to pause the video and do another, that's totally fine. Let's lower down to the knees and take it into a child's pose. One more breath. Good. Now you're going to want to secure your resistance band to something. If it's overhead, you could be standing and pulling down. If it's not that high, maybe you're sitting on the floor and pulling down. If that's not an option, you can lay down on your back and get those lat pulls as well. We'll be doing a reverse grip for the first round, so the palms will face you, and then we'll be doing palms forward for the next grip, and we want to keep the elbows wide for that one. So again, think of squeezing everything down here, all the lats. So you're going to loop it around something. Now it's likely that you're only going to be able to do one hand at a time just because of the nature of these bands. If you have nicer bands, you'll be able to do it two hands at the same time. So you're going to want to scoot away from that, so when you take your arm overhead, it's more or less straight. And then press the low back into the floor. If you want to add more to this, you can always lift your legs, and that will get your core going a little bit more. So reverse grip. Pull it down, almost like you're doing a chin-up. And squeeze and find that moment to hold. We'll do 10. So 3 more. All right, and then switch sides. Abs in. You want that arm to be extended, more or less straight overhead. And then pull down, elbow close to your rib cage, palm faces the floor. Think about engaging all the meat on that mid-back, below the shoulder blade, pulling it down back into its proper place if it's been spending too much time up by the ear. Three more. Make sure you're taking that moment to pause at your end range and really feel that contraction. Now, I usually like to do 2 sets of each exercise, so if you want to pause your video and do another 10 to 12 reps on each side, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to move into the other variation, which is with the palm facing outwards with an external rotation of your arm bone, almost like you've got a goalpost here, 90 degrees. So it's going to be a little bit out to the side. So when you take your arms out, you're going to be almost reaching in a V shape. So rather than your arms being straight up and you pulling down here, your arms should be out to the side a little bit. That way you can pull it down here versus here. So again, position your body so you're a little bit further away from that. Make sure that your arm is straight and extended here. And then for 10, pull it down. Think about keeping your entire arm parallel to the floor. So again, the elbow does get tucked in, but the fist does not. Keep your belly button braced. You want to make sure you're not arching your back. You're taking that moment at the end of your range and squeezing and holding for a moment. Let's do 3 more. And then we'll switch sides. Again, make sure that your arm is out to like a 45-degree angle. Palm faces up, and then squeeze that lat. Make sure that you're far enough away from your prop that you're getting good negative resistance as you take your arm back out towards straight. About halfway there. Last one. Now again, you can pause this and do a second set, which I highly recommend. Even feel free to do 3 sets if you're feeling rowdy. Alternately, if you have something that's a little bit higher but maybe not quite high enough to sit and pull down, you could still work your lats by coming into a tabletop. And you would have one arm forward here, and the other hand underneath your shoulder, and you would pull back here. This is a nice option as well. You could also pull down here, reverse grip. You could alternate it, which is nice. So we'll just continue here. Last one each way. And then we'll switch sides. So 10 in each variation. Make sure you're far enough away to where you're getting good negative resistance from that band as your arm extends back towards straight. Keep your belly button in, your low back neutral. Three more. Last one. Ooh, I really like that variation. It makes you work a little bit harder. All right, so meet me back on your mat. We'll just take a little flow to flush that out. So downward facing dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Inhale, extend, strengthen the back. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale again, strengthen the back. Draw those lats in and down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, extend. Exhale, walk the hands all the way forward. Lower down to the belly. On your inhale, peel the chest up for a cobra. Again, think about this as an opportunity to strengthen your lats. So turn those on. If this hurts too much, bend your elbows. You shouldn't feel pain here. Draw those shoulders back and down. Collarbones wide. Elbows in. One more breath. And release. Have a seat on your heels. Child's pose. Deep breath. And then grab a band that is much less resistance. This is likely to be a little bit harder. Meet me in a forward fold. Feet are hip width distance, and then place one band underneath your left foot. And then come up to standing and hinge forward and place your hand on your thigh. Now we're reaching this out to the side. This is going to work the rear deltoid, so this back side of the shoulder. You want to keep your knees a little bit soft, your abs braced, and we're going to go straight out to the side. Make sure that you don't do something weird with your wrist, like torquing it or compromising the wrist, like making it go like that. You want to keep the wrist nice and straight. So the palm faces inwards here. As you take your arm out, the palm faces down. And release. Abs in. Good. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Five more. Make sure you're holding it there at the top range, really pausing and engaging. Last one. Good, and release. You can just hang for a moment as you undo the band. And then we'll switch sides. So place it underneath your right foot. And then keep your knees bent as you bring your right hand to your left thigh, to your right thigh. Your palm faces inwards, abs are in, back is nice and flat. Again, I'll just turn to the side so you can see. And then take it straight out to the side. You want to make sure that the shoulder doesn't creep up into the ear. Exhale, press it out. So as you exhale through your mouth, it's going to engage your core more deeply. Make sure you're holding and then releasing. Straight wrist. Last two. And release into a forward fold. Just hang for a moment, wiggle. And then set the band aside. Inhale, extend. Exhale, meet me back in plank. And then press back to downward facing dog. We'll take a few lat push-ups here. This is something you can always add to your yoga practice. Feel free to pause and do more sets if you like as you're feeling able. Turn your fingers in just a little bit. So your index fingers are now pointed in maybe about 45 degrees or so, maybe less. And then drop the head towards the floor, elbows go out to the sides. This should feel like a handstand push-up. It's for the lats. Now what I commonly see is that people will bring their weight too far forward and it'll look a little bit more like a push-up, which, I mean, isn't like the worst thing in the world, but we're not quite getting that angle that we need. So try to find that 45-degree angle that the down dog spine gives you. And then maintain that. and push the floor away. Squeeze the lats. Inhale to lower and exhale to press. Squeeze the lats. Two more. And then walk the feet all the way forward to the hands, forward fold. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Have a seat. And then you're going to want to grab a band for your middle trapezius. You'll take either, if you have something to secure it to, you could do it to a bar like we did for the lats, but I find it really nice to do double duty here with like a hamstring stretch, maybe a little bit of core work. I think I'm going to need a stronger band. So taking the foot up above your face and then stretching that forward, you're going to pull your shoulders back. It's important that you want to bring the band to the chest. That way your elbows get behind your body. And then extend your arms forward. And again, band to chest, elbows back, abs in. Shoulders away from ears. Your hands will go wide as you do this. Keep the feet flexed. And then relax. And then you can take the other foot. We'll go ahead and do that other second set just so you don't have to pause the video. So after sufficient rest, just a few moments, go ahead and take that second set. Lift your chest. Elbows back, hands wide. So the hands will go together as you reach forward, and then they'll go wide as you pull back, so you can get those elbows back. Whew. Focus on that lower portion of the back, or I guess more the middle portion of the back, but the lower parts of the traps. And last one. And release. Now we'll just find a comfortable seat and sit up nice and tall. Whoops. And then work out some of that tension in the traps. Well, first, this is another nice strengthening pose. A lifted staff. Your hands are next to your hips, maybe slightly in forward. You're going to lean forward and then lift your hips up off the floor. Push the floor away. And release. So just hold that as long as you can, breathing, take a little break, and then do another set. So you can pause the video, do it at your own pace there. It's time to move into some stretches. So cross your legs comfortably. Sit up nice and tall. Drop your chin to your chest and just roll your head from shoulder to shoulder. Bring your head back to neutral. Sweep your right arm under your left. Eagle arms. Lift your elbows up. Inhale. And then exhale, bring them forward down towards the floor, or maybe a block if you can't reach the floor. Let your head relax. If you want a deeper stretch, you push those elbows into the ground, and that's going to stretch through the rhomboids. As well as those lower traps. It feels real nice. And gently back up. Arms up, inhale. Exhale, drop your right hand out to the side, lower the elbow towards the floor, and then just take that top arm and wrap it around behind your back. Palm faces back. Let your head hang. You feel the stretch in the neck as that left shoulder presses away from the ear. And then if you look down towards the floor, keeping the head heavy, it just gets a slightly different angle on the neck. You're welcome to move your chin around and explore all that stuff. Maybe open and close your mouth a few times. And take that left arm, reach it all the way up and over. And bring it back to center. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring your hands behind you with your fingers pointing forward for a reverse tabletop, or you can take a reverse plank, but I'm just going to do a reverse table. Fingers are forward, shoulders back, chest up, and lift the hips. The feet should stay down. They're about hip width distance. Hips up, look forward, up, or all the way back. Gently release. Cross your other leg in front. And then sweep your left arm under your right. Eagle arms, lift those elbows up, inhale. And then exhale, bring them down towards the floor, maybe onto a block. Let your head relax. And if you want a little extra, push your elbows into the floor to activate that stretch. Embrace your belly to come back up. Reach your arms up, inhale. Exhale, drop your left hand out to the side, the elbow towards the floor, and then just reach your top arm up and wrap it around behind your back. Palm faces back. The elbow might be touching the floor, it might not. Just make sure that the left shoulder is away from the ear. Hang your head. Press your right shoulder away from your ear. And then as you look down towards the floor, but let your head be heavy, that'll give you a slightly different angle. You're welcome to move your chin around a little bit, maybe open and close your mouth if that feels good for you. And then reach that top arm all the way over for that side stretch. Oh, that should feel good on the lats. And then bring it up on your inhale. Whew. Exhale, hands back behind you for another reverse tabletop. Fingers forward, toes forward, feet hip width. Lift those hips up. So you want to try and get your torso and your thighs all parallel to the floor. Look forward, up or back. And gently release. Now, extend your right leg forward and pull your left foot in for seated forehead to knee. Reach your arms overhead, interlace your fingers. Inhale for length and exhale, fold over. Grab the ball of the foot and bring your forehead to your knee. So round your back here, so you focus on stretching that back. And then wrap your elbows around your lower leg. Feel free to bend the knee if you're having trouble grabbing the foot. This is about the back stretch. We don't care if your leg is straight. And release. Point that knee up, heel in front of your seat bone. You can scoot those hips forward. This is Marichiasana pose. Take that left hand up and hinge forward, grab for the foot. You should feel a nice stretch in your low back as you lengthen your heart forward. You want to keep this left knee tucked into the midline though. And release. Switch sides now. Your left leg forward, your right foot in. Let the knee drop out for seated forehead to knee. Reach your arms up. Inhale. Exhale, tip the pelvis forward. Grab the ball of the foot and then bring your forehead to your knee. Again, bend the knee if necessary. We want to round back to stretch all those back muscles that you worked. Wrap the elbows in towards the lower leg. Breathe with purpose. And release. Point that right knee up, slide the heel in front of your seat bone, Marichyasana. Take your right hand up, inhale for length, and exhale, hinge forward, reach towards the foot, and then find a nice stretch in your back as you pull your heart forward, tuck the right knee in, and then maybe bow your head. And gently release. Both legs forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, tip the pelvis forward. And grab onto the feet. Flex the feet. Round the back. Stretch the back. Scoop the belly in. And release. With your legs extended out in front of you, we'll come into fish pose. Place your hands behind you, sit on your fingertips, palms down. And then puff out your chest, lower down onto your elbows. You want to adjust as needed. Point your toes, lift your chest, and then look forward, up, or all the way back to open up the shoulders, the chest. Stretch through the abdomen. And then lift your head up. Take your elbows wider as you lower your body down. Take your hands out from underneath you, bend your knees. Pull that right knee in. Around the rib cage, extend left leg forward.